That woman got hit in the face with a chair because she thought that she had the privilege to be able to enter a brawl and not get hit in the face with a chair. You thought that it was wrong that that white woman got hit in the face with a chair because you are privileged enough to believe that a white woman should be able to enter a brawl and not get hit in the face with a chair. Next time somebody says white privilege and you want to clutch your pearls and say, I don't have any white privilege, just remember that when a white woman who entered a brawl got hit in the face with a chair in that brawl, you thought that she shouldn't have been hit in the face with a chair as part of a brawl because she was a white woman. There you go. Enjoy.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We got to talk about an unsurprising turn of events when it comes to this super viral Alabama Montgomery riverfront brawl story that, again, is receiving national news attention because of the racial dynamics of this story. Okay, story that, in my opinion, is not racial. Race doesn't really have anything to do with it outside the fact that the people that were fighting each other were of different races, but they weren't fighting each other because of their race. They weren't fighting each other because they were white and black, right? They were just fighting each other because of a domestic dispute. But in this country, we can't just let a story like this with these type of racial dynamics just, go away, right? We got to keep stirring up hatred, okay? And we got to keep pushing the racial narrative because keeping black folks and white folks divided in this country is the main objective of the mainstream liberal media and them, right? The powers that be, okay? Because, again, what else can distract us more than a story like this where, again, you have black people and white people fighting each other, and the initial story that came out suggested that race really had nothing to do with it, but now, all of a sudden, race has everything to do with it, right? As now, there's word that the white men who got beat up by a bunch of black people who got mad because the white men decided to jump a black dock worker, okay, who was moving their boat. Allegedly, the white man used the N-word, right, and made gun threats, right? They're saying that the white man said the N-word. Now, here's the thing. When I watched the video, okay, and I saw all the video, I did hear racial slurs, okay, that were used during this brawl, but they didn't come from the white men, right? The racial slurs actually came from the black people that were watching the white men get beat up because they were so upset with the white man, and justifiably so. I mean, those white guys, they were acting thuggishly, right? They were entitled. They thought that they could just park their pontoon boat anywhere on the dock, and they couldn't do that, right? They were not entitled to do that. The black dock worker went and moved the boat, which I understand why the white man got mad. I mean, if I had a big, $50,000, $60,000 boat and some random person was out there trying to move it, I'd be mad too, right? And it was really a case of probably a misunderstanding gone wrong because these white men, again, felt entitled. They were probably drunk and they decided to jump the black dock worker. But hey, again, police have said that, hey, we don't think that this was really racial. This is not a racial thing. But again, the media has continued to push and push and push that it was racial, right? The activists, the pro-black activists said that the guys were white supremacists, right? Suspected white supremacists. They're racist. And lo and behold, they finally got the narrative that they wanted, right? There's now allegations that the white guys used the N-word. So I want to talk about it because you have the mainstream liberal media pushing for hate crime charges against these white guys who jumped this black guy, even though, again, this was not motivated by hate. But again, anytime there's a conflict between black and white people, they're automatically going to push the hate narrative, right? So let's go ahead and read about this, and then we're going to talk about CNN basically pressing the local police for hate crime charges. So let's read here. The infamous Alabama riverfront brawl has taken an interesting turn after the dock worker who was attacked by the mob of white men claimed the group called him the quote N-word and threatened to use a gun. Something else I want to note. The characterization of these individuals, right? If the roles were reversed, if there was a bunch of black men who jumped a white man, right? They would not be calling them black, right? They would not be focusing on the race of the individuals who committed the attack, right? They would just say a bunch of men jumped another man, right? Race wouldn't be a factor here, right? But because, again, it's white on black, they got to make sure they play up the fact that these guys were white, okay? Again, it's just interesting how this is playing out. According to legal documents obtained by TMZ, a woman named Crystal Warren, who was working on the riverboat, said one of the white men who attacked the black worker yelled, "F that N-word," before coming down the dock to fight him. Warren stated the man yelled the racist term after the deckhand moved a few smaller parked boats, preventing the riverboat from docking. Yeah, I wondered, do they have MAGA hats, right? The next story that's going to come out said, well, I saw one of them had a MAGA hat, right? His MAGA hat flew off as he was running down to the dock to jump the black man, right? This is what's going to happen, right? This is the narrative that's coming up here, right? You guys see what's happening, okay? You said it playing out before your eyes. Something that, again, should have been left alone. It should have just been these guys jumped this other guy, okay? And, it was because of this dispute. The guys are arrested. They're facing punishment for their crimes. It's over and done with. No. We got to keep dragging it on because now it's become racial, right? It's become racial. Warren told the police the white man on the boat flipped off and cursed out the riverboat captain, who initially asked them to move their boat. The riverboat waited for 17 minutes until the dockhand and Warren's 16-year-old son were dropped off on the dock to move the boats out the way. Through that process, Warren claimed the deckhand and her son moved the boats, blocking the dock and tied them back up before she heard one of the men shout the N-word. Warren also claimed one of the white men said he was going to retrieve a gun during the brawl that was caught in a since viral video. Well, I mean, if you're getting jumped by a crowd of, other people, right? Again, after the white man jumped the black guy unjustly, okay, they should face punishment for that. They should, be punished to the maximum extent of the law, obviously. Okay, let me make that clear. Because some people think I'm out here defending these guys. I'm not, right? I'm just being fair and balanced, okay? Which, again, is rare in today's media. If the white guys did in turn got jumped by a bunch of other people, in which you had one guy running around with a chair, okay? I mean, beating women with a chair, right? Which is something that we should find to be unacceptable. Again, these people were out here beating women. Women who were not fighting, they weren't jumping the black guy. They really didn't have anything to do with it. You had women getting beat, okay? And you got people out here defending the guy who picked up a chair and started hitting people, assaulting people with the chair, right? Apparently, there's a warrant out for that guy's arrest, too. I feel like there should be a warrant out for more arrests, okay? Of people who decided to turn around and to jump those white guys in response to all this, because in my opinion, I think that was unnecessary. Those guys were going to get what was coming to them in the form of being arrested and charged, okay? But again, that's not enough for these people, okay? In the video that has since blown up on social media, Warren's son can be seen pulling the group of white men off the black worker, and according to his mother, was punched in the chest and suffered bruised ribs while trying to break up the initial fight that led to the brawl. Police have since arrested Richard Roberts after he was accused of punching the 16-year-old and was charged with third-degree assault. There's no word on who called the deckhand an N-word and threatened to pull out a gun. Again, they forget the MAGA hat. All they need is a MAGA hat to make this story complete, right? To fit the whole narrative. Police Chief Darryl Albert announced on Tuesday that arrest warrants were issued for 3 men who are facing assault charges. Police also asked the man who was seen swinging a folded chair in the video to come in for questioning. One of those men has already surrendered and is currently in custody. Yeah, the guy with a folding chair needs to be charged to the full extent of the law. That was unnecessary. Again, you had people out there beating women. Okay, they should be charged as well too. But hey, that's being overlooked, right? Nobody's talking about that, okay? Everybody's talking about the white men who got beat up, okay, who are going to face punishment for their actions, which they should, okay? But again, nobody's talking about the actions that were wrong by the people who decided to go out of their way to, again, beat women, right? Nobody's going to feel for old Becky, right? Because she's Becky, okay? Alluding to the preview or the intro video that I did where, again, you have some woke revolutionary that feels that it's okay to beat women because they're white, when it's not okay, right? It's never okay to put your hands on a woman, right? In that case, that woman wasn't really involved. She wasn't really beating that black man or anything like that. She just got beat because she was white. Again, this is not acceptable, right? It's not acceptable. So anyways, CNN, they're pushing for hate crime charges, even though police have come out and basically said, look, this isn't really racial. We don't see why we should push for any hate crimes or anything like that. You know, they're trying to actually be fair and balanced with it. But again, this is what the media is doing. They're pushing them to, again, make this some massive racial incident because they can't help themselves, right? They cannot let something like this go to waste, okay? So let's go ahead and watch CNN try to press this guy on hate crime charges.
Police Chief Darryl Albert, thank you, sir, for being here.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Thanks for having me.
Chief, you've ruled out crimes or rioting charges, but hate crimes in particular, you have ruled those out. Why is that?
Again, why is that the first question, right? Why is that the first question? Is this a hate crime? There's nothing about the video, there's nothing about the evidence that we have so far to suggest that this is a hate crime, right? This has nothing to do with hate. They didn't jump the guy because he was black. They jumped the guy because he was moving their boat. Again, we're getting to the point in our country where a white man can't confront a black person or, you know, say mean things to a black person or make a black person feel uncomfortable, right? Or trigger a black person without it being racially motivated, okay? If a white man gets in a fight with a black person, the white man has to be racist. Has to be, right? It never goes the other way around, right? In terms of, oh, if a black man fights a white person, it must be because the black person's racist. Never happens, right? That's never what the narrative is, okay? Again, it's very funny, right? The direction that this country is headed in. It really is.
Well, I'll tell you, you know, we looked at it internally. We looked at the entire case, the case in its totality. We looked at, you know, the merits of the case, and we've not only talked about things internally, but we've reached out to our local, state, and federal partners to see that we are heading down the right path, that we're applying the appropriate charges. And based on the matrix for hate crimes, it just didn't meet that threshold. Now, I will say, this investigation is ongoing. I know you heard that, and the community's heard that over and over again, but it is ongoing. And as new developments come forward and our way, we will amend charges as necessary or as needed. So we continue to ask the public to provide those pieces of video surveillance to us, to come forward, be good stewards and good witnesses for us so that we can continue this investigation and let it go whatever path it takes. If it rises to the level of hate crimes, if it rises to the level of inciting a riot or whatever that looks like, we're willing, able, and we will do just that. So
yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and say it. I don't see a scenario where this should be a hate crime because, again, I don't think that it was racially motivated. I think that those white guys were drunk. They would have done it regardless of the skin color of the dock worker. They were more mad about the fact that their boat was getting moved, which, again, I mean, I think they were justifiably upset. Now, their actions were not justified. Their actions were criminal. It was thuggish. It was a sense of entitlement. They should not have done that, right? But I don't think they should be charged with a hate crime, especially based off the evidence that we have now, which is hearsay from some person who basically claimed that they said F you N-word, okay, or they said the N-word before running down there to jump the guy. So again, I just don't see where the hate angle is coming from here.
Again, hats off to the community, hats off to everyone who participated and got themselves involved and talked to the Montgomery Police Department and gave us that much needed video and those much needed witness statements to help us properly charge at this time.
I want to ask you about that. Had that video not surfaced, had there not been the very start of what appears to be the very start of it and how this all began, do you think the police would have had the tools to arrest the right folks in all of this?
Well, you know, what we did was detain 13 individuals on the spot. Those 13 individuals was brought over to police headquarters, and extensive interviews went on for hours and hours. And at the time, we did not have the luxury of all the videos that we've seen now, that you and I have all seen and that the world have seen. Basically, what we had was witness statements and he said, she said. So our police officers and detectives had to decipher through all of that and then apply the appropriate charges at that time. So again, as we gain more information, as we get more video, as we talk to more individuals, if charges are to be amended, there will be. They will be amended as appropriately as necessary to make the final judgment on this case. But again, that is not indicative of what we are here in the city of Montgomery. You know, we strive hard to be a fun, community city, and look, we just love all the things that we have going on in the city at this time. You know, there's a lot of growth. There's a lot of visitors coming here to see what this city has to offer, and you know, this is not going to set us back. This will be something that's going to help us get through this and move forward as a city, move forward as a group of people that's here to help each other and love and learn and enjoy our city. So we welcome folks to come. Montgomery is open. This was an isolated incident, and again, we're going to move forward from this.
Can you tell me, sir, do you think more arrests might happen? That you talked about potentially more charges. Do you see more arrests happening as well?
Well, we are surely looking at every piece of evidence that's come in. We have hundreds of videos and witness statements at this time. And, you know, I would say at this point, it's highly likely that more arrests, more individuals will face charges.
Okay, so more arrests and more people facing charges.
Yeah, so again, interesting. Again, I think that some of those guys who were beating women, right, that were, using weapons and doing all types of crazy stuff, they should probably face some consequences as well, too. Now, again, obviously, I got to go without saying here because, again, people go get it twisted. And all those white dudes that were involved in jumping at black men definitely should be punished, okay? I'm just stating that unequivocally. But I think to be fair here, right, to be equal, to be just, which is what people claim they want, I think some of these other people who decided to jump in unnecessarily, right, to jump these white men after the initial fight was done, probably should face some punishment as well, too, because, again, they escalated it to the point it didn't need to escalate. There was enough video, there was enough evidence to arrest those guys, for those guys to actually face punishment. I don't think the extra stuff was needed, but, then again, we got people celebrating these people like they're Avengers, right? They're the Avengers, right? Black people celebrate this like it's a holiday, right? Like it's Christmas, okay? Juneteenth, right? Again, it's amazing. It really is. So again, I hope that everybody's held accountable, right? I hope that everybody's held accountable. I don't think that there needs to be any type of hate crime charges. This is not racial. This is not a racial incident. The media is making it racial. But again, that's the direction that is going because again, they can't help themselves. All of a sudden now they're N-word accusations. Again, I heard plenty of racial slurs in the video. I just didn't hear them from whites, right? That's all I'm saying. I didn't hear them from any white people, but again, who knows? They could have said it, right? And they probably did say it out of anger. Maybe, okay? But again, I don't think that it justifies hate. I don't even think that really makes it a racist thing. Again, it was just a dispute, a domestic dispute. Every domestic dispute between white people and black people does not have to be because of racism, okay? We got to move past this, right? I think that we can analyze situations like this without saying that such and such and such did it because of racism. It's ridiculous. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.